to another Time for Tea Crafting Live. I hope that you're all well this evening and that you find us. Just give things a couple of minutes just for everybody to find us. Oh, and I can already hear myself, which is a good sign, I think. So I think I've got this up. So hopefully I can see your comments. Let me see if I need to go into this in a different way. How is everyone this evening? Let's here we go. Yay! I can see that people are with us. I can see that Elizabeth and Alison, Chelsea's with us. Hello, Alison. I can see your comments. Hooray! Yeah, that's a success. So hopefully we won't have any issues with our technology this evening, because we did have a couple of issues with technology last week, and my iPad that I use to be able to look at your comments just kept crashing on me. So I've switched to a different device, so hopefully that means then that we don't have those same issues. So I can see that Margaret is with us, Laura Ann, Jenny's with us. Hi Jenny, I hope you're okay. Emma's with us. Yay! Oh, excellent. So this evening, I'm not really sure what to do this evening. I've pulled out a few bits and pieces for me to have a play with. Because there are a few bits that I haven't played with for a long time, and just would just really like the opportunity to play with. Plus I've also got some bits of information that I need to tell you all, things that are exciting, things that are coming up. So so hang on and stay tuned for those bits of information. But I'm hoping to be able to make hopefully maybe even a couple of cards today, depending on how we get on. Now I'm just going to turn on some more lightage in here. So sorry if that sends the screen a little bit funny temporarily, just while I get that set up. But then that should hopefully carry us through to, as it gets a little bit darker outside, we'll still be nice and bright inside. Hello Jackie, hi Jane. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. How are we all doing? Are we feeling good today? Are we having a good Thursday? Hello there, Lunan, how are you? So these are a couple of the cards that we made in previous weeks, which I really, really love. So I just put them on screen so that we've got a bit of a visual. But I'm thinking that today what I might do, and I've moved my my patterned papers, but actually I might use some of my patterned papers today. So I've not used my patterned papers for a while. So I've got a selection of my patterned papers here. Jane says I sound nice and refreshed after my day off. Oh, that's good. I don't know if I am. No, I definitely am. But yeah, we're definitely still a little bit frazzled between us. Ant's not been too well. He's been suffering from really bad hay fever, and then he's been working nights, so he's having some much needed rest. So we're hoping that we can have a nice rest this weekend as well to really catch up on things. So I've got my lovely paper pads here, and some really nice patterns in here that I'm thinking are going to be really nice, particularly this rainbow stripes, or even my little rainbow pattern here, which I think is really cute. I've also got these like little bugs, little bees. We've got some flowers, some different little tulips there. We've got a check, we've got some stripes. So there's loads of lovely patterns here. That one's a really fun one as well. I've not really used that as much as I would like to. So yeah, I've got some good patterns here. And I'm thinking that I would like to use one of the add-on Slimline dies in a card, either this one or this one. This one's a really cool one because the tulips are a little bit larger when it's used vertically, and I'm thinking that I might use my my Slimline add-on dies, but not necessarily on a Slimline card, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I shall, let me get an A6 piece of card, or maybe an A2 might fit better. So this is an A2 card base. So obviously they're not all going to fit on with the same spacing, but what I'm thinking is that maybe if I was to cut them out and just use the inside portion, I might be able to get 3 along here and maybe use them as a see, I've got this really lovely like a nice soft grey here, which is a really nice backdrop for anything that's quite colourful. So that might be a really nice backdrop. Let me get some A6 card here. That will sit in the middle. That would be quite pretty. Or, because they are little tulips, maybe they need to be filled with a bit more of a solid colour. Maybe the green would look nice. We also have the green in some kind of zigzags as well, which would look kind of cool. But I also, this is a really pretty pattern as well. So that might look very nice. I think what I might do then is do a little bit of cutting, and then we'll see where we get to and see what happens. Jane says, oh, that's a beautiful grey. Is it a Time for Tea card? It is. So this is one of the Time for Tea scored and die cut A2 size cards, and I can't remember the exact name, but it is the only pale grey shade that we do, so it should be quite easy to find on the website. I'm terrible for not knowing the names of these things. I've swatched out all of my other cards now, but I didn't swatch that. So I've got my A2 size layering die set. So this is a really useful die set because it helps you then create matte and layers for your A2 size cards, which in this country is not a typical card size. So if you do buy any of our A2 size card bases, then you're going to definitely need this or want this this set to help you cut out all of your other pieces. And I do think that this is a really nice card shape because it's a little bit fatter than a traditional A6 size card that we get in the UK. So that's why I like it, because it just gives you, I don't know, it's a little bit shorter and a little bit fatter. As you can see, this is an A6 size card, and this is our A2 size. So you can see it's taller, but it is also just fractionally thinner. I hope that you can see that okay. So Annalisa is impersonating Time for Tea today. Well, you are Time for Tea. You're part of the Time for Tea crew, so you are Time for Tea. You can be Ant for this evening. Because like I say, Ant isn't joining me tonight. He's taking some well-earned rest. So I'm going to pop this through the die cutting machine, which is the noisy bit, I'm afraid. So bear with. I'll just pop this through here, and this is the bit that you can't see what I'm doing, but you'll definitely be able to hear it in a moment. Come on, machine. Oh dear, why does it do this to me? My lead keeps coming loose, which I find most frustrating. Sorry for the noise, guys. And I know somebody else mentioned that they also have a bit of a problem with their die cutting machine, lead coming loose occasionally, which is just very, very odd. Very odd indeed. So we can get rid of that, and I'm going to try and keep on top of things at the moment. I'm feeling a little bit like I want to craft everything tonight. so I'm feeling a little bit shambolic, shall we say, a little bit all over the place. So I need to keep on top of things and keep a bit organised, otherwise things will get out of hand, won't they? So, like I said, I'm going to use these smaller die cuts, and I think we will be able to get those on here really nicely. The question is, what colour are we going to go for? So I'm going to use this little, use the die itself to be able to line up on here and see which of these little die cuts that I'm going to like the most. So I could use this set. At the moment I'm preferring this colour. We could go with the stripes, which would be very cool. I feel like the stripes would look very nice. So yes, the stripes look good. So just catching up with some of your comments. Hi Siobhan, thank you for joining us. Luna says she has the same issue with a Gemini Junior, so I wonder if it's a Gemini issue, because this is the Gemini, the full-size Gemini, the big one. Claire says she's going on holiday tomorrow for the first time in 9 years. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Where are you going? And yeah, as Luna says, I hope you have fun. I'm sure you will. But yeah, where are you off to? The green's nice, but I think it's just a bit boring. Dare I say. The green pattern isn't boring, but behind my aperture I'm not as much of a fan. And then the last one I think that I'm gonna try is this one, which is almost the same sort of shape, but again I'm not feeling that one as much. I think it's just a bit too plain, whereas the others offering us a little bit more colour variation, which I think is just a bit more interesting, isn't it? So, hi Lindsay, how are you? So I think that I'm going to go with this one, you know, because I think it just looks really cool. I like the different patterns poking through. So I'm only going to be able to maybe cut 2 at a time. So I'm going to have 2 with this orangey theme, and then we might try cutting some from the yellow at the bottom. So this die set's really cool because it doesn't cut this bit around the edge. It's only going to cut your tulips, and you can then use that the aperture to have something behind, or you can use the bit that cuts out as well, because both have this decorative stitch line, which is really cool. So let's make a noise with this one as well. Oh, I've put that on upside down. That's because I was using it as a guide. So don't do that. Don't put it on upside down. You do have to put it the side that you actually want it to. You want the bit to cut. Oh, silly me. Right. So my lead has got stuck yet again. So let's give that a little press and a jiggle around. The only thing about this machine that I find frustrating, because it's a really good die cutting machine, if not for that, you know, so frustrating. So I've got a little half of of a little tulip there. But now I've got one of my little tulip shapes there and the other one there. So I think if we do a little yellow one, that one can sit, I think, at the bottom there. So let's just have a look, see. Yeah, that's a good place for it, isn't it? Just there, I think. Getting a good amount of the yellow as well. So let's cut this one out as well. She'll be back shortly. And I do love this, the fact that you can really build a card with your dies here. Oh dear, come on. Come on now. Most annoying, isn't it? Right, so there we go. These are our pieces. So now we've got our little yellowy green piece, which is really cute. So, and we've got a spare piece that we can use at another time, which I think is really lovely. So let's have a look. If we just space these out a little bit more, I think that's going to look really, really gorgeous. I think that's very, very sweet. And then the thought is, right now, what do we do, you know, with the background? Do I do a little bit of stenciling in the background? Do I leave it white because it looks really lovely white? Yeah, that's interesting. Now you see, I've given myself a dilemma because I've created one of those things that I never create, which is a clean and simple type card, isn't it? Because what we could do is we could simply add a little sentiment. So I've got some of these sentiments here, and we could just add a little sentiment here, which would be very, very pretty. We could add a little bit of stenciling behind our tulips as well, which would be nice. And I think that the black and the black that's on the background would look really, really sweet. So yeah, this is coming together. Annalisa says, I get it. When I do clean and simple, I think I'm cheating for some reason, as a card doesn't take me 3 hours. Exactly. This is coming together so quickly and so beautifully. You could leave it white and add a thin coloured frame. So what I was thinking was maybe I draw a little frame in black around the outside, just a hand-drawn frame, which I think would look really cool. And then we could go with one of these sentiments, but we could also go with a die cut sentiment. So let me have a little look through my stash of sentiments and see what we have here. I'm thinking something like we have the smile, don't we, in one of our sets. We've got all of these wonderful die cut words, but they're all quite large, so I think they might be a little bit too big. But so many die sets now that it's so hard to choose. I feel very lucky that we have so much choice. Now this is a great die set. Bear with me until I just grab it. So this die set here is for the Happy Mail gift card holder add-on, and this has got some cool little dies in it. So it's got the hello, happy, it's got a thank you in there, and an XO. So that could be a really nice one. We could add something simple like the I love you, which might be quite sweet, or we could do the hello, which again would be very sweet. So we have the hello here, which we could add across the middle, which I think would look really nice. So yeah, I think the hello could be a good one. And so the question is, for you guys to help me, is do I do that in black, or do I do it in a similar colour to so we've got in our background here, the black. And we've just got this out as well, because this die set, which is a really cool die set, our ovals, has also got a hello, scripty hello in there, which is really cool. So yeah, so that's a really good one. I'm just going to pop that there so I don't forget which die set I've been using, and I don't forget to put things back in the right place. And then we could still have a little secondary sentiment, the I love you lots, which I think would be kind of cool. So we think black. Should we try black? Because if do you know what? If we don't like the black, we can always do it again, can't we? We say this many times. It is only a bit of cardstock, so it's not a big deal. And for this one, we can use our little mini die cutting machine. So yeah, I have been looking at, can we find some mini die cutting machines, because I love this little machine so much. So yeah, so keep your eyes peeled, because I think we will try and get some of these one day. It's not going to be anytime soon because they're expensive and they're hard to find, but you know, you never know, one day. So this is really great as well for using some of your scraps, because it's not a huge sentiment, but it is, you know, it certainly packs a punch. And this is where you will find that if you've got scraps of cardstock from different suppliers, that not all blacks are created equal in terms of cardstock. So some of them are slightly different shades and weights here because they're from my stash. But when I cut them out, see, that one might be a little bit small. I'm going to lay them up. So the best one, so the Time for Tea one, I will keep on top, because that one is probably the better black. So let's start cutting some of these out, and I'll know straight away if the first one we cut out is not going to work, won't we? So we don't have to cut them all out before we know whether we like it or not. So let's have a look here. This could be the quickest Time for Tea card in history, couldn't it? I don't think I've ever done one this quickly. But sometimes it's nice to just do something that's clean and simple and quick, so you've got that in your stash. And I think I must have been in the mood to do something like this. So we've got the hello there. I like that. I think that looks really nice. I don't even know if it's going to need the secondary sentiment, but we'll see, because I think I like that. And you know, do we have it at the bottom here instead? Maybe just playing with our proportions and things. I think that might look quite cool in the bottom corner, just less traditional and a little bit more interesting. Your eyes coming down your card if we put it at the bottom rather than the standard perhaps of putting it in the middle. So yeah, just think about when you're you know, thinking about your placement on your cards, think about doing something that's a little bit off kilter and a little bit off center, because it just makes things a little bit more interesting. So let's so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple more of these and layer them up so that we've got a little bit of dimension to our sentiment, which I think will be great. So this is now inside my inside my die, so I just need to give it a little poke to set it free. There we go. So Claire's off on holiday. What's everybody else doing? Well, she's not on holiday right this minute, but maybe she's preparing for being on holiday. What's everybody else up to this evening? Are we just watching? Are we chilling? I don't know if there's any football on tonight. I haven't been paying any attention to it whatsoever. Excuse me. So I don't know if there is any football at all. But are we avoiding the football? or do you enjoy the football and I'm getting in the way? Yeah, let me know what you're all up to, because I love knowing what you guys are up to while I'm crafting away. You keep me company when I'm crafting, which is cool. And I have not really been doing much crafting. I've been working a lot, but not doing any actual crafting, which is always a shame. So I do miss it. So now I've got the 3 of those. Is 3 going to be enough, do we think? I think 3 will be enough to give us enough dimension. It feels nice and solid. So let's start sticking this together. I think we might be on the road to constructing. Annalisa says that she is in the garden with Sparky. Sadly, he isn't doing well, enjoying a little time that I have with him left. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so, yeah, I kind of know how you feel. I just feel like that every day about Clyde. I mean, he's actually doing really well at the moment, is Clyde. So Clyde, for those of you that don't know, Clyde is our old boy cat with 3 legs. So he had an operation probably 4 years ago now, to have his leg removed because of a tumour on his foot. And he has managed so well with that, but he is 19 years old this year. So he turned 19 in May. And we just noticed that he didn't seem to be looking after himself as well. He was drinking a bit more water, and yeah, he just wasn't looking himself and moaning a lot. Now, he's always moaned, and I know you guys have probably heard him on various lives in the past where he's moaned at me to give him some attention. But this was, this was more than normal. So we took him to the vets, and they did some blood tests, and to everyone's absolute amazement, all his blood tests came back normal, which even the vet was like, I'm amazed. I think she thought she was going to be telling me, enjoy, your last moments with him kind of thing, because he's probably got kidney failure or something along those lines. Anyway, so far, no news is good news in my book. They don't really know what's causing it. It could be, we're theorising, his teeth. Now, he's old, so his teeth aren't great, and he may well be struggling to eat certain foods. He's lost a lot of weight, and he does seem to be hungry, so we've changed the food that we've given him to something that's much easier for him to eat. It's a bit more soft, like a pate, and smells nice and strong, so that he knows it's there. And he's been eating so much more. He looks so much better already. His fur's already looking better. So yeah, I'm thinking that, maybe for the moment he's doing okay, but I'm not under any illusions that he's a spring chicken and he's going to be here forever. So I do feel your pain, Annalisa. Sparky's blood work was great, but then the x-rays showed so many problems: fluid on his lungs, heart issues, spinal issues. Oh, good Lord, poor guy, poor Sparky. Give him lots and lots of hugs and cuddles from all of us. And yeah, he's very lucky that he's got you to look after him. Emma says, just had my tea and now just watching. Did you have anything nice for tea? Jackie says, I'm making a birthday card for your 3-year-old grandson. He likes the Gruffalo story, so using the dynamic card to make a woodland scene. Oh, how cool. That's going to be so awesome. You must share that with us when you've done it. When, obviously, he's received it, because we can't spoil the surprise. So, right, now then, I'm just going to take a minute, because I want to draw this outline, and I think I need to draw that before we add anything else. Now, I've got a few of these fine liner pens, which you can buy online. You can buy on Amazon or in your local craft stores if they're now open. And I've got various different sizes of nib. I've got a 0.3, 0.1, 0.5 and a 0.03. So they're all varying widths. The 0.5 is actually the thickest. I don't know if you can see that. That is the thickest of all of them. The 0.1 is very fine, if you can see that. Super fine. The 0.03 is barely even in existence. I don't know if you can even see that. And then the 0.03 is kind of a little bit better in terms of thickness for general things, I find. So it's a little bit you know, thinner than the 0.5, but still visible. So I'm thinking I'm going to try the 0.3 to begin with. Hello, Alison Jane Green. So I'm just going to draw a line fairly close to the edge, and I'm kind of deliberately not making it super straight. So I'm not going to use a ruler or anything. I want it to look hand drawn, but I'm taking some care to so it doesn't look wild, if you know what I mean. But I also want it to you know, to look, to have that hand drawn look. And I've made sure that my corners don't meet, so again that adds to that hand drawn look. So is one enough, or do we double up? Because sometimes I do like the look of a doubled up hand drawn edge. Yeah, I think I'm going to double that up, and I'll just show you what I mean by doubling this up. And I'm going to make sure that it's not in exactly the same place. So they're very close together, my lines, as you can see, but we've created dual lines, and again this just creates a little bit more interest. So sometimes they will cross over and overlap, sometimes they will run parallel. So I'm keeping them very close together, but I love the freedom of doing this kind of technique, because it doesn't matter if it's squiffy, because it's meant to be a bit squiffy, if that's a word, but it is now. So I'm thinking I'm going to pop up my base. So does that mean that so that means that I think that these will be flat, and then obviously I've got dimension here with my, and I keep wanting to put it in the centre because that's always seems to be the natural thing to do, but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to add some of our tape to the back of this, and I'm going to use some of my thick tape here and do this. so that we've got a nice bit of dimension here. So this is the kind of card that Ant would love me to make when he's helping out, isn't it? Because it's super quick. And I always seem to do like really complicated cards when Ant's here, and he's like, why is it taking so long? Bless him. So, but I think what we will do is we will do 2 cards tonight because we've done this one super quick, but I'll also probably do something that is fairly quick and simple also, I think. If I'm in that mood, we'll see if we can do a couple of them. Oh, let's try and line that up. The reason that I paused there was because I realised that I hadn't secured that in a totally straight. I hadn't scored it totally straight there, so I'm just going to try and address that. There we go. Beautiful. And then, like I say, we'll do these flat. So what I'll do is just line these up here. Hope you can see that. And then I'm going to adhere my middle one first, because that is going to be, it's going to make sure then that they're all in the right place and spaced accurately. So it's the same sort of thing when you're trying to do individual letters. If you start with the middle of the letter, the middle letter of the word first, and then work your way out, you'll know that you've got it in the right place. You've got it spaced right. So let's add this. This is going to be so cute. This is going to be such a lovely little card. Oh, I feel like I've done him a little bit off centre, so before he's fully dried and fully set, I'm just trying to line them up as best I can down the side. I have to add a little bit more glue there because I've pulled him up. There we go. A little bit of glue on the edge there, just to keep those little corners flat. Great, nice. So, cool. What was I going to say? Sorry, I feel like I've got a little bit of a runny nose, which is annoying me greatly. So, in other news then, what have we got going on? So, I need to let you all know, obviously we haven't got a release this month. I think I will have mentioned that previously, that we are waiting for things from manufacturers, which means that we won't have a release until the end of July now. So what does that mean then? That means then that we have the opportunity to offer you some of our fabulous existing products at a bit of a sale price. So we are going to have a sale at the end of this month, starting tomorrow, and you will be able to get 30% off all of our standalone dies. So there may be some selected stamps in the sale as well, but the main saving is going to be on those standalone dies. So if you've had your eye on some sets but you've thought, oh, it's just a little bit too pricey for me at the moment, this is going to be the opportunity to get those because they're going to be on a great price. So I'm just going to use my paper scissors here to very carefully trim off some of the excess here, because this is way too small now, because I've already trimmed it, to go through my my paper trimmer. But I do just want it a little bit thinner so that it fits nicely underneath this sentiment. So I'm doing my best to cut it as straight as I can, and these paper scissors are We Are Memory Keepers, and they are the best paper scissors that I've ever had, and I'm trying my best not to ruin them. So I'm thinking that this overlapping the hello is going to look really cool, so I'm going to need some little dots, I think, just to keep that up, which I'm sure I've got some of our really small foam pads, tiny enough. I knew I was going to do that, just knocking things off my little shelf here. Okay, so where have I got these? Let's have a look. Actually, I don't know if I've got any of my really tiny ones here. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Nope, they're not tiny ones. They're not tiny ones. I'm gonna pull up every other kind, aren't I? Apart from the ones that I want, which is pretty much the way it goes, isn't it? Let's grab them all. Nope, they're no good. What do we got here? Got some very big giant ones. I might have to cut some of these down because obviously it's going to overlap this hello. So I'm going to take my sheet of really small dots and make them even smaller, if you can imagine that. And then I'm going to add these, which have come off in a bit of a strip actually, which is quite handy. And I'm just going to pop that along the bottom. So these are really quite deep dots, so they are going to give a good amount of height here. So let's just pop those. Oh, I always do it on the wrong side. I actually even checked that and I still did it on the wrong side, didn't I? Will the stencils be in the sale? Most likely not, I'm afraid, Jackie, just because we tend not to have very many of them left in stock actually. So I will have a little look through and see what is available, and see if there is anything we can do with any of those. So that seems a little bit too popped up now, doesn't it? I'm not sure I like that now. I've done it because these are very deep and it stands out too much. So let's reverse this action, which is fine, we can do. These seem to come off really quite easily, these ones. I don't know where I got these ones from. These aren't the ones that we sell in the shop. So let's have a see. Determined to put it on upside down, aren't I? So yeah, I just wanted it to rest on top of that really. So let's see. See now these are really quite slim. So I think that if I just cut a couple of strips of these down, these might give me just the right amount of elevation. Let me make sure I'm putting this on the right side again. And that might just do the trick. I'm being quite brave here, aren't I? Because I've not even checked. But I think I like that. Oh, she says. Yeah, that's not too bad. Now what I didn't do, which I wanted to do, and I might still be able to do if I'm a bit clever, is just colour around. Yeah, it's not sticking really well with this adhesive, I don't know why. But what a really good idea to do with these sentiment strips is, because they're printed onto white paper, it does mean that they have a white outline. So if you want it to look like they've been printed onto black, then it's a good idea just to go around those edges. So I'm just going to use my Copic marker here just to colour those edges. Really easy. And then now it looks like it's got a black core, which is what we want. And then, like I say, I can just pop that underneath there, and it says, hello, love you lots. Cool. So that we could just leave that as it is, but you know me, I love a bit of embellishment, and I think that a bit of embellishment on here is going to look great. So we've got a few different options, but I think that the ideal option here is going to be some of these clear drops. So I don't know if you guys have seen these in the shop. I think we have got a few left. There are some of these rainbow ones as well, which would be quite cool. Let's have a look at these. Lauren says, just thinking this through, and I can't order from the sale as I won't be here to have delivery. Still 2 weeks away from home. What now? After this past year, I will not complain. Oh wow! So you're not going to be here to have a delivery. That is a shame. That is a shame. So we've got, see these lovely. Like I say, they are kind of a iridescent raindrop. Almost like when you put oil on water, kind of an effect. So there are different sizes as well. So I like to mix up those sizes as much as possible. And I think we've all spoken about how we like to have things in odd numbers is definitely the way to go. And I think that possibly that group of 3 might be enough. What do we think? Just keeping it really, really clean and simple. This is not normal for me. This is quite scary. So the sale starts tomorrow, Annalise said that's correct. 30% on all standalone dies. Fantastic. Yes, please do add it to your blog post. So yes, we will do that on all of the standalone dies. So there will be a separate section on the website, which will be our sales section. And you will obviously be able to find them in the normal searches anyway, but I'll group them all in one place so that you'll be able to see everything that's on offer. So if we do add any other additional items, you'll be able to find them in there as well. So yeah, so I just thought, you know what, it's that kind of time, I think, where we all appreciate saving a few pennies. There's been a lot of new releases in quick succession, and it's been a long old lockdown for us all as well, so things are kind of getting back to normal in some places, but still some frustrations, I think, being felt. I have been looking into whether we could do face-to-face workshops again, and unfortunately in my local area, the places that I would normally have booked those sessions for aren't yet available for workshops and classes to be run. So it is a little bit back to the drawing board on that score. But the alternative to that is that we will go back to doing some online classes. So I know you guys really enjoyed the online class that we ran previously. You can see that I am just doing a little bit of de-sticking of my glossy accents here, so please bear with me while I deal with this issue. So yes, so we will be, Laura, and you're correct, an online class is imminent. I'm preparing some bits for it as we speak. The date I have in mind is around mid-July. I haven't confirmed an exact date just yet because I just want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get everything done in time. But yes, there will be an online class through Facebook. You will be able to join the group and participate in the class as it happens, or if you're not able to do it as it happens live, then you will have access to the class for 30 days after as well. So so even if you're not available on the day that the class goes live, all it will mean is that you're obviously you're watching it after the event, and so you won't be able to ask any questions to me live, but if you have any questions you can still contact me and I will help you out. So the last class that we did went down really, really well. There were some great projects that came out of it as well. It was loads of fun to do. So yeah, so I just thought, well, let's do another one. And we'll do something different this time. So my plan for this event is to, and this was on the back of lots of requests from you guys, is to do people. So colouring in people. So we shall do a colouring class on how to colour people. There will be some free digi-stamps as part of your class as well, and we will go through colouring skin, different skin tones, colouring hair, different hair colours, and you will be able to then take away the colour combinations that we've used for different types of marker, as well as the ones that I'm using during the class. So it'll be really good. I think it'll be about a couple of hours, 2.5 hours I think the last one was, but it'll be loads of fun. It'll be such good fun. So so yeah, so I can't wait to show you guys that. So first card completed, super duper easy. Really just some paper pads, cardstock and some dies, and a couple of embellishments, and boom, there you go. Card number one. I'm loving that one. This clean and simple style might be for me after all. Let's not get carried away. We'll see, but I am inclined to do something else. What should we do now? What shall we do now? Let me think. Okay. So I've grabbed a few bits and bobs here that I've not used for a while. Some things that we've used recently as well, which are really cool. I've got some of these guys, which are super cute. I've got my unicorns that we've not used for ages. I've got the Treat Yourself set, which is super cute as well. And I think, yeah, I'm thinking this one might be a good one to do, because I've not, like I said, I've not used it for a while. And I've also got this Lift the Flap die, which I've not used for a while. And I'm wondering whether that might be quite a cool one to do. Or I've also got in here, which I just noticed when I was having a flip through. Excuse me. Where's it gone now? I've lost it. Excuse me. This heart slimline die, which cuts out the aperture as well. So I'm clearly on a bit of an aperture kick here. But I've not used, I don't think I've used this one for ages. And I do like, so we've got this vertically and horizontally. And I'm thinking that actually the horizontal one would be quite nice. And I like the idea but even the lift the flap would work really well, of having the little treats in the apertures. So we could have maybe a little donut could be sitting in one. So that would be very cool. Oh yeah, this is cute. I'm liking this because we could have the pizza. These are like some of my favourite things here. So I'm thinking, ooh, maybe ice cream would be a good one as well. So we could do ice cream because they're both a bit triangular. Or I quite like the idea of the watermelon because that kind of balances out this this pizza. Sorry, I hope you can see that. I'm just putting my hands in front of everything. And then on the outside we could also have these little the little mice just leaping into shot, couldn't we? Which would be really cute. So I am inclined that this might be a cute thing to do. Okay, and the question, and I think I'm going to use the hearts because what I'm thinking is these are kind of like your favourite treats, or you love these treats, or you know, I heart this kind of situation. So I'm going to go with this, and we're going to cut this out of a card base. So to get all three on, like I said, I don't think we're going to fit them onto an A6 card base because these are made really for Slimline, you see, so they don't quite fit. And do you know what? It doesn't really matter if they go off the side, but I think we'll try and make them fit. And I'm going to see if our mini Slimline die is a good fit for this. Let me see, where is this? Mini Slimline. So we've got our mini Slimline. So let's have a look. Oh no, just a bit too short. That's a shame, but not to worry. But I do love the mini Slimline, so I think we will have to make something with those at some stage. So I've got here I've got two options here. I've got, this is the trio circle Slimline die set, and again this is a really cool one for you to be able to pop little things inside your little gaps there. But I think I might use the new scallops, the lovely friend, and I might use those sentiments actually, which are quite cool. So this will fit perfectly inside this shape here, and we can make a card base that will fit around this shape as well. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut this first of all out of some cardstock, and I'm thinking that I might keep this bit fairly neutral. So I was thinking, do I cut it out of a coloured cardstock, or do I cut it from and keep the background white, or do I cut it from, so my patterned cardstock's not quite wide enough, you see, but we could have pattern behind, but then I'm wondering if that might take away from our little, so we might do some ink blending in the background and cut this just out of white and then use a coloured card base. I think that's going to be my plan. There you go, I've just talked myself through that process, which sometimes you have to do. So now I need some card. So I've got a nice thick piece of cardstock here. This is some 300 GSM cardstock, so this is pretty weighty stuff, but you know it's going to keep everything safe. So let's trim this down as well because I don't need it to be not going through the not cutting properly. So bear with me while I make a noise again. And I could actually have probably lined both of my dies up at the same time, but I was a little bit scared to do that for some reason. And actually I might cut two of these, have one in the background, and then which I can do some ink blending on, and then put another one over the top of it which has my aperture in. So I will do that now. So what I mean by that is, Annalisa says that the mice are her absolute favourite. She uses them all the time on her scenes. They are very, very cute, aren't they? I feel like they need to come back in a different you know, in a different set of their, you know, doing something different this time, up to more mischief. So yeah, you see I can line both of these up together and run them through the die cutting machine at the same time. And like with our previous die, the tulip, it will only cut the hearts out of the centre. It won't cut the outline here. So I just need to make sure that I've got that nicely lined up and in place. And then we'll pop this through the machine. So more noise, apologies. Here we go. Goodness, I'm holding on to it and I feel like I'm making it worse. Come on. So what? So Annalisa says yes, please. Yeah, I definitely think that that's a shout. And I also want to as well. I've got some sketches in my book for the mice from the Bake My Day and the Baked with Love stamp sets, to do something a bit more with them, because I think again that they've been one of our most popular sets, and there's so many other adventures that they could be getting up to. So this I can feel hasn't quite cut there because of where it was placed in the machine, but the centre has cut. So I'm going to just try and carefully remove this particular die, because we don't need to pop that through again, but I will just pop this through to see if we can cut that. And what I might do is just trim it down, because oftentimes it's where you're placing your die through the machine. So for example, if I pop it like this, I'm accessing different pressure points on the plate, which will hopefully mean that it goes through and is able to cut all of those areas that it didn't quite manage first time. Oh, nearly all the way through there. Without cutting out. One of these days. So there we go. So that's that one. So yeah. So we've. What else has been going on at Time for Tea? So apart from doing lots of designing and working on lots of things that'll be coming up soon, which I'm super excited to show you. I feel like some of these things I've been working on for so long, and I've just not able to share them with you. And there's some even that are even longer before I can share them with you. But you're gonna love them, I know you are. So I'm dead excited. But apart from that, I also did have a little bit of time to myself. Excuse me while I have a little drink. So I did have a little time to myself yesterday, which was excuse me, which was really nice. I went to have my hair done, which I haven't had done for feels like forever, but it's, you know, I have had it done since lockdown eased last time, so it's not that long, but it's you know, it just felt like it was very much time for it to be done. And I really enjoyed, you know, I get on really well with my hairdresser. I've known her for so long. She's been doing my hair for years and I love her to bits. So it was really nice to catch up with her and just do a bit of, you know, general chatting and gossiping about stuff. And then I took myself to our local shopping centre and took myself for some lunch and just had a little wander about the shops. Bought myself a few bits and yeah, and then came home and just was hanging out with Ant for a bit until he went to work, and then in the evening I did a little bit more work, but then watched some TV with the cats. So it was really nice, you know. It was really much needed, and I did absolutely enjoy it. I have to say, I was in need of it. I love this. I do really like this paper. And I really had in my head of doing something a bit rainbow themed, but I feel like it's going to take away from our design, our little stamped images. So we may have to leave that. That looks, I mean, anything looks really cool behind these apertures, I think, don't you? It's really cool. So I think the thing to do, I love the black and white. Doesn't that look cool? But I think the thing that I'm going to do, because we could also just do some nice ink blending in the background, which would be really cool. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp our images and colour those in, and I think that will help me decide what the rest of our colour palette should look like. So yeah, so I think that's what we'll do. So I've got some of my cardstock here. This is some of our pre-cut cardstock. I've got my stamping tool at the ready, and I'm going to stamp out these images in some memento. So we've decided on the watermelon, we've decided on the pizza. I actually don't like watermelon, but you know, that doesn't matter because whoever gets this card might. So we're going to stamp out our little Mises. And I'm going to stamp out, I was thinking, do I stamp out another little mouse just in case? I'll stamp out an extra mouse just in case. But these images are, you know, really nice and small. So, you know, it's no hardship if we have to go back and stamp an extra one, really, is it? So, some of my memento. Hi, Mihaela, how are you? She says she's sorry she's late. She's just finished her dinner. That's a late dinner. Sorry, my arm was right in shot there, wasn't it? That's not very good close up for you. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of pressing on here. See how well that's done. Might need another little ink up, just for good measure. And again, I'm just going to use my microfiber cloth just to help me get the right amount of pressure on there. Sorry if I jostled the script. Oh, that's much better. Really good. So I've got my my little chamois here. Just clean off my stamps, and then we can get to colouring these in. And because, like I said, they're small, then they shouldn't take us too long to colour. So let's now then. I need somebody to tell me the order of a watermelon, because I can never remember what order to do the colours. So could somebody, maybe Annalisa, you are Ant today, if you could perhaps Google for me what colour each bit of my watermelon should be. I feel that should be like a pinky red, and then I should have a pale green and a dark green. But tell me if I am right or wrong. So I'm going to start with my pizza, I think, and we're going to start with a nice kind of a crust on our pizza, I think. Excuse me. So I think for our pizza, the E30s might be... Oh, why have I done that? I'm spot on. Dark green, green and red coral. Perfect. Cool. It's funny because it's one of those things that you... because I don't eat it, I forget what the right colour scheme should be. So we're just colouring up our pizza crust here. So I'm using E30 and E31 just to make it look a little bit like it's got a bit of it's been toasted a little bit. And just blend that back, and then I think we have the E33 and E34. Now the E34 is quite appropriately entitled Toast. So I'm just going to add that just around these areas where you normally find the edges are just a little bit darker and a bit more I've had a bit more time in the oven, shall we say. And then so those colours are probably not creamy enough, I don't think, for our our donut base. So let me have a look at my swatches here. So I mean, thinking about what colour your donut might be, I feel that it's a bit more, the donut's a bit with a glaze on is a bit more of a caramelly colour. So if we look at maybe the hazelnut, bit dark, or the am I overthinking this, guys? Am I overthinking this? This is light camel. Yeah, that's too, see that's a very kind of a darkish brown. So here we have E11, and that is a little bit more like what we're going for. I think 25, E35, E... Oh, so many choices. Sorry guys, I probably am overthinking this massively. But I like to, you know, I like to get it right. I feel like that is a good shout. Yeah, I'm going to go with these. So this is the E21. And I'm going to add that to the base of our donut here. Now I feel like I'm too far away, so I am going to just zoom in. Let me just zoom. There we go. So this one in the middle is our pizza, Angela. Hello and welcome. So it's got a little crust on the outside, and this is our donut. So for our donut, I'm going to just add a little bit of colour to some of the areas, and I'm just doing this a bit on a slant here. But I think this is going to work. And back to our E21. So that was E23. Just blend this colour out a little bit. And I'm not going to go mad. I don't think it needs any more than that. Just pop those back up there. So for our pizza topping, we need some nice warm cheesy yellows, don't we? So let me have a think here that this is a nice warm yellow. So we'll just add some nice good amount of yellow, but we're going to warm that up even further with the Y35, because cheese is once it's melted gets quite warm in shade, doesn't it? So we'll just add a little bit more of that, and then even more, because some of those areas are going to get a little bit burnt, aren't they? So we're just going to add some little areas where it might be a little bit darker. And I really like with doing things like pizza, because you do also have little bits of sauce on there as well. So we'll add a few little bits of red on there. This is a tomato, so I'm going to add some red to our tomato as well. I love that just does give it a little bit of colour. And then the centre of our tomato I'm doing in a bit of an orange for a bit of contrast. Sorry, I didn't show you that was the YR07. And then for a bit more contrast for colour, I think it's really nice to do like a green pepper kind of a colour. So the YG25 is one that I really like. That just adds a little pop of colour there. And then let's have a look. Oh, I've lost my green pen. Come back. Because those greens might be nice for our watermelon as well. So I need a nice warm grey here for our mushroom. So I've got warm grey 3 here. Or red topping like tomato. Yes, that's exactly what I was going for, really. Was that kind of a look. So, and a bit of warm grey 5 here, just to add a bit of depth there to that tomato. It's not a tomato, it's a mushroom. So there we go. So that's our pizza completed. For our I'll turn this around, and this is our donut. So what colour should we go? I like the idea of doing the kind of Simpsons kind of donut. I know I want that pizza as well. That is a Joe Spesh pizza, let me just tell you. So on a weekend, so this would be in my list of favourite foods, most definitely. So on a weekend, Aunt and I, we have what we've lovingly referred to as a Joe Spesh. And a Joe Spesh is actually, it's a pizza that we get from the local, I like this R43, I'm going to make it work. So this is the R43, sorry guys. I think it's just a really nice shade of pink. So we get this, it's like a meal deal that you get from Tesco. So those of you that are in the UK, you will know this meal deal, I'm sure. It's £5 for a stuffed crust pizza. And it's just a margherita pizza that we get because we're both vegetarian. And you get some garlic bread and some garlic dip sides, all for a £5. It's amazing. That I don't even know how they can do it for a £5, but it's amazing. And I then add to it with some extra toppings of peppers and tomatoes and mushrooms. So we call it a Joe Spesh because I add to it, and it's my job on a Saturday night to make us a Joe Spesh. So yeah, so it's become a bit of a lockdown ritual, I think, for us, because it's not really something that we did before lockdown, but I don't know whether that's just because it wasn't there and we didn't discover it until lockdown. But yeah, we love it. So yeah, it's absolutely delicious, and it's got the stuffed crust, like I say, which is just, oh, gorgeous. So yeah, that is definitely one of my favourite foods, without a doubt. So what I've done here is I've just added a little ring, if you like, of that darker shade that goes around the front here and around the back there. Now what that will do, I'm hoping, is give you the illusion of some shape to our donut, and a bit of gloss to it. And then what we'll do afterwards is we'll add a little bit of a highlight with our jelly roll pen, and I might even glaze it with some glossy accents. But I'm going to add some nice little bits of sprinkles in different colours, which I do think tend to be in very kind of fun rainbow colours, don't they? So I'm going to just pick some random rainbow type colours that you know, we can will hopefully make our little will stand out from our background here. So sorry, I'm just thinking about colours, so I got distracted. I've got all these greens here, these lovely bright greens. Let's try these. I always go, I don't know, I'm sure you guys are very much the same in that you have some, like, you go to colours perhaps when you're colouring in. So for example, Y15 is very much a go-to yellow colour for me, because I think it's you know, it's a really good shade of yellow. It's quite a warm shade of yellow, although it doesn't seem to be standing out too well against that background, so I will just add a little bit of the Y35 as well. And I have, for my greens in particular, I tend to favour the YG shades of green rather than the G shades of actual green. So yeah, so that's just it, you know, I think sometimes I forget that they're there because I always go for the same sort of thing. Now for inside his little mouth, normally I would go for maybe you know, I don't know what normally I would go for, but I'm just going to fill it in with a bit of grey. I don't want it to be too dark, so I'm just going to add a bit of colour to it. Jane says, luckily she just had pizza for a tea. Well, that's perfect. I'm very jealous now. So for our lovely watermelon that we've decided now is a nice corally kind of a shade, I'm thinking of how am I going to colour this in. That's a nice kind of a colour, isn't it? What's this called? Vermilion. Let's have a look. Oh, that's darker than I thought it was going to be. That's not the colour that I'm going for. Isn't it interesting that you don't really know, do you, until you try some of the colours? They don't look quite what you think they're going to look. See, I think this is an interesting colour, the salmon red. Might be a little bit too on the orange side. Whereas if we mix with some of the light prawn, I think that's going to be the colour. So this is the R22. And I'm going to colour the bottom of this in this shade. I think this is the right colour here. I'm not going to worry too much about going over these little pips because, I mean, I think the pips in real life are actually black, aren't they, rather than white. But we could always go over them with our white Jelly Roll pen anyway. So this is, I keep holding on to the lids, don't I, and not showing them you, so there you go. Not salmon or pink. Yeah. Do you mean it shouldn't be salmon, or it shouldn't be pink, or it doesn't look like salmon or pink? Because it doesn't really, does it? But it doesn't look like a prawn, I don't think, really. But apparently that's what it is. So I think that's nice, a nice colour. And then I think the inner section of our watermelon needs to be this lighter green, and then we go for a darker green, which is, I'm going to use the YG17 on the outside. I feel like that could even be darker still, actually, couldn't it? Because it doesn't seem to be quite enough of a contrast there. Let's go into the greens. Yes, I feel like this is going to give me the contrast. So this is the G28. There we go. That's giving me the contrast that I want. Cool. So now we have our food. We now need to look at our little critters, don't we? So for the critters, I'm thinking, because of the colour scheme, we could go grey, but I'm thinking we could go for a nice kind of a warmer shade in terms of keeping them kind of a browny colour. So I'm going to go with this E51 or the E50 shades and see what happens. So I'm just going to give them all a base layer of this lighter shade, this E51. And this is, you know, it's the same as it kind of is with, oh, I think I've smudged that a little bit with maybe a bit of water somehow. So, yeah, as with it is with rabbits oftentimes, you can colour them in a variety of different colours, browns, greys, all of the different shades of within that will work really well. So that gives you a lot of freedom, I think. So this is the E53, and I'm going to use this to add most of the colour now. So the lighter shade that I've added is essentially my highlight, if you like. So this now becomes the majority of my colour. So let's pop that along here. And I'm just leaving the tips of the toes, the tips of the feet white, and the top of the head white. The same with this little character here. I'll just turn it around so you can see that I'm just leaving the tops of his feet, and then above the feet, that's where there'll be shade. And then I'm going to bring the shade in from either side of his face and leave the centre lighter. Watermelon is really red, says Angela, so maybe I've not made him red enough. I'm quite happy with how red he is though, because I don't want him to be too dark to cover up his face, because he's got a little smiley face, so if you make him too dark. So I've used some artistic license, Angela. But you know, when you do yours at home, then obviously you can make them, you could make him a rainbow watermelon, you could do whatever you wanted. So let me see now, what have I done with that one? E55, there it is. So the next shade up is the E55. I said 45, I meant 55. And I'm just going to add some extra shading just where there is overlap, so really subtle, some little bits around here, around there, under his belly, under his chin, from his nose. These little guys are very, very cute, it has to be said. And then just a little bit around the back of his ears, and then we can go back in with that E53 and just blend those out a little bit so they're not quite as harsh. And that just gives him a little bit of shape now, I think. And I like this colour scheme. So we now just need some pinks. Now this R11 has been quite a nice, very pale shade of pink, nice and subtle. And you know, one of the things that I'm working on is just being a bit more subtle with my colour schemes. So but they see, then I pop it on and I think, oh, it's not dark enough, it's not dark enough. So whereas this one is super dark, but I think for the cheeks, I think it's sometimes you just need a little bit more of oomph, a bit more oomph. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So that was the RV42, and then I'm just going to go back over that and just blend that out with the R11. So that's all of our little characters done. So I know this has gone from being super quick and easy to me taking time now, but I think it's all going to start to come together really, really easily now once we get to die cutting these. So we've got one for our watermelon, we've got one for our pizza, we've got one here for our donut, and then we've got mouse number 1 and mouse number 2 and mousey number 3. So we can cut these guys out. So I'll just try and line these up without getting my head in view. So sorry if that does pop in there. And our treats, and then the little mouse. So the little mouse cuts around the little tail as well, so you just have to line that up so that you can just about see the lines in what we're doing with my tape. There it is, within your die, so you can just about see all of those lines in there. And we can get that lined up, and the same with this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to just pop this through the noisy machine because it won't fit through my mini, unfortunately, this one. So sorry for the noise again, it's been a noisy one tonight. Couldn't help myself. I couldn't, you know, the first one was too easy. So I needed to give myself a challenge, didn't I, Annalisa? You know, it wouldn't be me, would it, if I just did a quick and simple one that took half an hour and then off I pop. So which I know is what drives Ant totally up the wall. So we've now got our bits here. So now this is where we can decide, how do we decorate our panel? Do we decorate the outer portion or the inner portion? And what colour scheme do we use if we're doing that? So So yeah, so let's have a think. And because I'm also thinking we could make our card base from coloured cardstock as well. So that will also influence our decision making. So now they're all popped out. How adorable are they? So cute. Love them. Very, very cute. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so that you can see what's going on. Oh, she says. There we go. I think that's enough zoom so that you can see. And let's see what we're going to do here. So our plan was to have one of these guys here, one of these guys there, one of these guys here, wasn't it? Like so. And then we can have one little mousey here, one little mousey there. And then I've got an extra little mouse popping out of there perhaps. Very, very cute. So what do I'm inclined to think that we might do some ink blending in the background, but let's have a look at what this does to our situation if we put some patterned paper behind. I have to lift up my my little character here. So that feels a little bit too busy for me, but what do we think? So if we do this, just seems busy, doesn't it? So I think we keep it a bit more simple, and we do some ink blending, I think, instead. And then we can pop it up onto a coloured card base. So in terms of colour scheme, we've got some pinks, we've got reds, we've got greens, we've got a really nice colour scheme going on. So I am a fan of the yellows, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts about having a yellow front edge with a nice pink background? Quite like the idea of that. So let's have a look at some of our cardstock, which might help me make my mind up here. So these are some of our cardstock pieces, and this might help me make a decision here as to what we want to do. The tropical teal is very, very nice, I have to say. Gives some real vibes of summer there. Peacock Parade, a bit too dark. The blues aren't really doing it for me, neither are the purples. Neutrals, the soft smoke is again just a really nice neutral. We've then got the pink souffle, which is really sweet. The bubblegum pink is too close, I think. We've got the Havana Sunset, a vanilla milkshake, and the lemon sorbet, which is the one that I'm edging towards this kind of a yellowy look. Or we've got like a mint julep. So of the colours that we looked at there, the tropical teal seemed to be really quite a nice one. So my thoughts are possibly that we use some of the salvage patina on our front here and see what that looks like. So let's grab our let's pop that back, and then under here I've got my little mat for ink blending. I'll just move these dies out of my way so that I've got a bit more room. And our first card, just pop up there. So let's grab this now. and I'm going to use my larger blending brush here, and let's just quickly add some of this lovely colour onto our background. And the great thing about doing it with the distress inks rather than just using the cardstock is that you can vary the depth of colour. So we can make it much darker in areas and give a bit more of a subtle look, allow some of that white to come through, and that'll just look really, really nice. So it's not just one total flat colour, it'll just have a little bit more of a subtle finish. So that's, this is a really nice colour as well. I do love this salvage patina. So yeah, that's, and I mean this brush is awesome. Covers so much space. Lemon sorbet or teal, yes, I am in agreement. So we are on the same page there, Alison. So we've gone for the salvaged patina in the background, which I think just looks really fresh against that with those treats, because they're quite summery treats, I feel. So let's just give this a wipe, because I think we'll go in now with a different colour. And I feel like, what do I feel like doing in the background here? Let's take these little characters off. I'm thinking that, like you said, the lemon sorbet is a great colour. So maybe some squeezed lemonade. Let's grab some of the, I think this might be the vanilla rather than the lemon sorbet that I'm grabbing there. The vanilla is very nice. The lemon sorbet is also really nice. Let me grab a couple of pieces of this, because then we can decide on which one's going to be our card base. So you see we've got the two different shades here, which are really lovely. So we've got this background, which is very, very sweet, I think. Really nice colours. Or we've got this, which is a bit paler and a bit more neutral, which will also be very nice, I think. Very different. Nice though. Interesting. I think I'm going to go with the brighter yellow, and I'm going to add that with my with the squeezed lemonade. I'm going to add that onto the back of here. I'm going to see. They are both lovely, aren't they? But I think I'm going to do it with the ink first, and then I'm going to use the lemon as our card base, I think, is my thoughts, because this allows me to just keep it a little bit lighter. Yeah, I think that looks really, really sweet. I like it. So what would be really nice then to do on the back of that, I think, is going to be to just maybe add some darker smushes and maybe some just some water to add a bit of texture to the background, because it's quite flat at the moment. There we go. That's good. That's good. Let's good to me. I'm going to just pop that to one side and let that dry. And we'll pop that back in its little holder. So then we're thinking that possibly we might make this into a card base, or I might use a just a plain white. Plain white I think might work actually, because I don't want to overdo it with the colour. There is a danger that you can overdo it with the colour. So pop those back and we shall reconvene. So I could use the soft smoke again, but I think we've used that already. Go back in there. Stop arguing with me. So for our card base then, I'm going to grab some of my, I've just got some heavyweight cardstock, 300 GSM, which is exactly what we need. And I'm going to use this as kind of my template. So you can see here that this fits onto an A4 sized piece of cardstock and fits perfectly at the narrower end. So I can just add a score line here and that will create the perfect size card base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil. And I'm just going to pop a little line there because that will be the perfect place for a score line. And then I'm going to grab my scoring tool. So this is a We Are Memory Keepers. It's actually a scoreboard and a cutting board. Now you can use this end for scoring, I believe. Flip for scoring, it says. So yeah, you can flip it this way, and that obviously fills in this line here so that it doesn't, you're not cutting down that line. And then I'm going to find my line for where I want to score. I don't know if I'm using this correctly, but this works for me, and that's my score line there. I'm just going to use the bone folder to create that line, and then that will allow me to fold that over. I can secure that crease, which is perfect, and then I can flip this back over this way, and now this becomes a trimmer. So the idea being then that I can line this up here, and I don't know if you can see all of this. Oh, squashing everything. So you might not be able to get, I might not be able to get all of this on camera, unfortunately. Let me see, I can move it up ever so slightly. There we go. And then it's going to let me trim the end of this. There we go. So, and now I've got my card base. That's cool. So that's a cool little gadget, and it also it actually unfolds to a 12 by 12 size. So if you're looking to do larger pieces of cardstock, it's perfect for that as well. So but then it folds away so that it's a little bit easier to store, so which is always handy, isn't it? So coming together now. So we have our piece that goes on the back and the bit that's going to go on the front. So I like the white edge now, that just keeps it really fresh, and I like the summery freshness of it all. So I'm going to add some foam pads to this, and I'm actually going to use some of our own shaker tape for this, because this will give a good amount of lift, and it's also nice and narrow, so I can place probably a couple of strips along this outside edge without too much trouble. So this is also, these dies are great for your shaker cards for this purpose as well, because you can add your shaker tape around the outside and have shaker bits in your apertures, which is a really cool idea, and I wished I'd thought of that earlier, because that would have been a really cool project for tonight as well, wouldn't it? Oh, I've let that go a little bit too close to my heart there. I'll just trim that down, and then I like to just pop up these little centre bits as well so that they don't collapse. It's always a good idea to do that as well. So we just pop that there. And that there. And then another strip. And that should give us plenty of lift. Just one little bit in this corner. I've done that too big. I knew I had. I knew it. There we go. And that one goes there. Excellent. So, Luda says she has the same. I mostly use it for scoring, prefer my guillotine for cutting. I'm exactly the same, Luna. I prefer my Tim Holtz guillotine for cutting because the blade is self-sharpening and it always gives me the most precise cut. But that is a really handy tool for, like I say, if I need it, because my Tim Holtz guillotine is only is one of the smaller ones. So if I want to cut something larger, then that's a great size. And also, like you say, for scoring, it's perfect for the scoring. So, so what's everybody else been up to? I know a few people have gone to their beds, which I don't blame you, but for everyone who's still watching, I do appreciate it. And anybody who's watching the replay, hello to you. Obviously we post the replay after the live here on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. So if anybody's joining us from YouTube or from or watching the replay on Facebook, please do say hello. We love to hear from you and see what you think to the cards that we're making, and if you've got any any questions or any comments about future projects that we might make. So I'm going to do my best to line this up. Feel like that I held my breath there and it worked. That's never happened before in my whole life. So yes, so anybody been done anything, been anywhere, done anything different during the easing of lockdown restrictions? I know we have booked in to go to the cinema for the first time in what seems like a million years. So we're super excited about that, and we're going to go and see Fast and Furious 9. So because we love the Fast and Furious franchise, that was lots of F's. Fast and Furious franchise. So yeah, so we're really excited about that. So I need to think about what my sentiment's going to be as well. So I'm just positioning some of my characters here, but I'm also thinking, right, what sentiment I'm going to do. And I did think that it would be really nice to use one of the sentiments in the scalloped die set. So it's got this lovely friend. So friend down here would be really nice. And then the sentiments in the stamp set itself, we have we've got sweet friend, we've got treat yourself, Birthday calories don't count and nom nom nom. So the treat yourself friend might be quite good. Or we could pop the treat yourself on the inside, and we could actually just use the lovely friend. That might be quite cool. So we'd have lovely and friend. Oh, I do like that quite a bit. So the question is, do we cut it out of white cardstock, or do we have the lemon cardstock? I feel like the white's going to pop, and we've got some scraps of white. So let's cut this out. And like we always say, if we don't like it, it's just a bit of cardstock, isn't it? So Lindsay says that film is on her watch list too. Love the Fast and Furious films we do. I mean, Anne is must be The Rock's like biggest fan ever. He loves his action films as well. So that's a big tick in the box. And to be fair, he is a very good actor and good, delivers a good action film, shall we say. So I'm excited about that. But the other one that I really want to watch is the Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, because that has got some of my favourite actors of all time in it. So Ryan Reynolds, I'm a huge fan of. I love Salma Hayek, think she's amazing, and Samuel L. Jackson, well, he's just a legend, isn't he? So that is, and the original, the first one, The Hitman's Bodyguard, was such a good film. In fact, I could definitely watch that again now. I've just thought about it. So, Alison Chelsea, you have met The Rock? No. Oh my God. He will be so jealous. How did you meet him? Where did you meet him? I need to know all the details. This is exciting. Alice Gadney says, just popping on to say thank you for the swiftness of my order. Open up the garage to find my dies in there. Was looking for something else. Love to all and see you next week. Oh, you're so welcome, Alice. I'm so glad they got to you speedily. This is good news. So I'm just going to shut my card. I mean, in fact, I don't really need to, do I? Because I haven't stuck it down yet. So let's take this lovely out of here. Hi, Siobhan. So let's have a... Come on, pop out. This is coming together really nicely. I think this is a really cute little card. And these sentiments are so lovely. Oh yeah, the white is definitely the way to go. And I'm going to do a couple of layers then of this. These are so nice. Look at this. Oh, this is going to be so cute. And we're going to add a few little embellishments and we'll be done. So let's just pop this over there and we'll have some more of this lovely cardstock. And I'm cutting it into small pieces, obviously, because we're popping it through our smaller machine, which is so much easier. I got a bit of... So just make sure that when you pop it through again, that you've got rid of all of the little bits that are still trapped in your die, because it'll just help it go through the die machine a little bit better and get you a cleaner cut. Now this is quite thick cardstock. Where did I put my die machine? So I might only need a couple of layers, but I do like a bit of dimension, so having extra dimension is always a good thing, isn't it? Alison says he's very big and very nice. I literally walked into him in Vegas. Oh, I see, this is why we need to go to Vegas. I keep saying to him that's where we need to be going when we can eventually go anywhere, and I've got time to go anywhere and can afford to go anywhere. Marilla says it's bedtime for you. Can't wait to see the finished card. Night tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it's been a bit of a long one, hasn't it, in the end? But I got so excited. I couldn't stop as usual. So let's trim that one down. Hopefully I've not trimmed off too much of that one. And pop this one out. Can't believe that you met him. That's so awesome. I bet he is absolutely enormous in real life, isn't it? We all get carried away crafting, says Mary. I know, I do. Once I'm kind of, sometimes I'm a little bit like, it's hard to start because I'm so busy doing other things, and getting my head into that kind of crafty, you know, creative mindset can sometimes be a bit of a struggle to start. But then once I've started, that's it. You know, I'm lost, and I can be gone for hours, and I forget what I'm doing, forget to eat, forget what time it is. Before I know it, several hours have passed, and yeah, but I've thoroughly enjoyed my little self, so that's the main thing, isn't it? As long as you're enjoying yourself, it doesn't matter. So, last one. He's Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Yes, he is. And isn't he like 6'4", 6'5" or something, and the same wide. So as wide as he is tall. and just, yeah, he is a pretty amazing guy. I think, you know, if you were to meet him, you would be totally in awe of him, and you certainly wouldn't pick an argument with him, I don't think. But he seems like a real kind of gentle giant kind of a guy as well. So that's my, let me move, oh, crash. Let's pop out this last one, and I can pop my dies out of the way. This is a really nice font as well, just it's quite delicate scripty font. So now I haven't kept my tittles. I've just realised that I have just been very like quick to just pop everything out. So one of my tittles has survived in there. So that's the dot over the eye. So, but I'm not going to stress about that. It's fine. We're not going to worry that we've lost our tittles. We can always use, actually, maybe a Nouveau Drop to make up for that, if it's noticeable. But, you know, I think we might get away with it. I've also got like a little pearl here that I can see in my little dish of little random bits that I pop here in case I might use them one day. That might work as well. So let's get these stuck together. So we've got our lovely, and then again I'm going to use my reverse action tweezers just to help me hang on to these, and then I can add, so the other one I did the other way around, didn't I, if you notice? So this is clearly, you know, me getting a bit tired now and just, you know, randomly doing things. So the easiest way, I think, is to do it the opposite way to what I've just done. So there I added my glue to the back, and then I've glued this onto the top. But if I add my glue on the top of here, it's probably going to be easier for me to line up the next one on top of it. So I will do that this time. So, but it is getting a bit late now, so you can forgive me for being a little bit tired now. But that has created a really nice bit of dimension there. You've pretty much created your own little chipboard piece there, which I think is so cool. I love doing this with my sentiments. So again, I'm just going to add some glue to the top of this one, and obviously I'm not adding glue where my tweezers are holding, but there's enough glue on the rest of the sentiment for it to hold and me not to worry. I could probably put less glue on than I have, and just dot it a bit more, you know, at intervals around, and it still stay nicely together. Alison says that he's a solid wall of muscle. You're only 5'2". Comedy moment as I just kept looking up and up and up. That's amazing. So funny. I think that's that, you know, because he does a lot of things with Kevin Hart, doesn't he? And he's only very small, so it is just, it's comedy gold when them two are together. Love the long session of crafting. Dan and I are going walking later in the evening because of the heat, so you can watch the whole session. So is it super warm where you are now, Annalisa? I do love all of the pictures that you've posted of where you've been on your walks and stuff. It looks so beautiful where you are. The weather here in the UK has been very much, it's just been a bit unpredictable, a bit all over the place. It is quite warm, but overcast. So we're not really enjoying any sunshine, but we're feeling a little bit, I suppose, it makes you a bit lethargic. The kind of, we call it a bit muggy feeling. I don't know if that translates in the States or Canada, that muggy is how it feels. Just a bit icky, I suppose, as well. Excuse me. And it gives you little bits of hay fever and runny noses. So I think I want to pop these up as well. So we're popping everything up. We're going mad with the dimension this evening. So I'm going to chop up some of my foam pads to add. I don't want to go super deep, but these are a good amount of dimension, I feel. So pop this guy. So I think the only thing that I perhaps would have done differently is I would have balanced out my colours of my my characters that I chose. So if you were doing this yourself, maybe you would choose the characters that had similar colours on either side, because I feel these colours are very similar and then right next to each other. So I would want something that was a bit more either the same colour as this on this side. So maybe you could do your ice cream in similar colours, or maybe you have your lemon slice on this side to balance out those colours. But you know, hey ho, I like it still. I still think it looks cool. Or I could have changed the colour of the icing to something that was not as close to the rest of the card, to the opposite, to the adjacent image. There you go. Adjacent, that's a word. So muggy, you understand that, and it's hot and humid where you are too. Yes, but it's just not very sunshiny. So we really enjoy sunshiny. We like to sunbathe and to sit in the sun, and just really does help us relax, actually, the sunshininess, and we're just not getting that at the moment, which is disappointing. So I feel like he's too close to my little Can I remove that? Move it up that way slightly. There we go. Felt like they were overlapping a little bit too much, so I've just moved my donut up a little bit. so that he can sit there. Annalise says she can't sit in the sun. You're a shade lover. I understand as well. I mean, I am starting to get, I suppose, a little bit more conscious of being in the direct sun, particularly having my face in the sun and the aging effects that can have. So yeah, I am trying. So when I went on my little shopping spree yesterday, I have been desperately looking for a hat so that I can have a little bit of shade from really bright sunshine. I'm a little bit disappointed actually, and I've just mentioned this, that some of my ink splatters they're not very noticeable, so I'm a bit annoyed about that. There's not much I can do about that now. Never mind. So yeah, so I did actually find myself a hat, so that I can now shield myself from the really, really bright sunshine when it comes. But like I said to Anne, as soon as I bought the hat, we will never have any more sunshine. That's just the way it goes. We won't. We bought a barbecue the year before last actually. And the first year that we bought it, there was no more sun. We never got a chance to use it because there was no sun. The second year that we had it, we were in lockdown. Now, you might think, well, that's the perfect time to have your barbecue, but it also meant that there was a gas shortage in the world. So we now cannot purchase any gas for this blooming barbecue because it's a gas-powered barbecue. Rather than like just a traditional coal one. So yeah, this poor barbecue has been sat in our garden through all the wind, rain, snow and all all of the elements, and has managed to survive all of those elements, but we don't know if it actually works because we've never fired the thing up. So yeah, so I think that barbecue is fated to never actually be used. So I am really loving this this card, and again I think that either some clear drops or some of those dew drops are going to be ideal for this. So let's have a look, see what these look like. And I just think it looks so pretty. So let's just tip a few of these out. So see, these are just really cool little fillers. So where you appear to have like a little gap or a little bit of, just need a little bit of something, but you don't want to add any more colour to take away from the design that you're already working with. These are absolutely ideal. So I want to be very careful not to position them in too much of a line, if you like. So let's see, one of those as my tittle could work. Go away. I want one just a little bit bigger. Maybe that one. No, actually the little one did work better. Let's pop that one there. I can turn it back over. So yeah, that's kind of cute. And then I think maybe a big one at the top here for some balance. Yeah, that's good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking that looks quite good. Yeah, that one there is definitely the one, isn't it? So let's get my glossy accents back out and let's secure these in place. Luna says, so pretty and cute. Thank you so much. I think it's come together quite well in the end, hasn't it? I love it when a plan comes together as, what was his name? Is it Hannibal from the A-Team? Anybody remember the A-Team? Back in the day. So, oh, it's stuck to my glossy accents. Come here. It's the only trouble with how fabulously sticky the Quick Sticks tool is that it sometimes won't come unstuck. There we go. And then the final one, just here. And I like to have these like hanging over or tucked under. I just think that just makes for a really interesting look. Annalisa, you remember the A-Team. Are you similar sort of age to me, Annalisa? I think you might be. I know there was definitely there was a remake, wasn't there? But I can't think when that was. But it wasn't the same. Wasn't the same as the original. You can't beat the original. Funny though, because they were replaying it on one of these channels like Gold or whatever on TV here, and oh, it just seems so dated now, so weird. But yeah, very funny. So I'm just going to try and carefully pop these into my little tray here, which you can't see, but hopefully you can hear. This is one of our Twiddler's Nook little trays, and then once you've got it into there, you can just then dispense it a little bit easier into your pots, which makes it just that little bit easier to do. But when they stick to your finger, that can't be helped. So there we go, and then that's all the way. So they're really, really handy little trays, those. And my other one is also full of all kinds. So the final thing then just on this is I do have some of these Nouveau Drops. Now, I don't know if I've not used this for quite some. It's very, very warm in here today. So that, I feel these work better when they're warm rather than cold. So, like I say, this hasn't been used for quite some time. So I'm lucky that it's not too gloopy even. Droopy? It's not droopy. So that's stuck up a little bit. So in order to make it drop, I'm going to do this. And it's still stuck up. So that normally that does work, but I think it is just a little bit gloopy. So I'm going to use my pokey tool, which this pokey tool, I don't know if you're the same with yours, but it gets used for everything. It's the most useful tool in my craft room, I think. So, perfect. It's not perfectly aligned up, but, you know, I think that makes up for the lack of tittle. I'm happy with that. What do we think? Do we like? I think that has turned out pretty well. Battery's going, says Luna. Nana, awesome cards, Joe. Catch you all next week. Thank you for joining and staying till the bitter end. We have two cards. We have our super quick and simple make, and then we have the one that did take a little bit longer, but you know, in general terms, actually I don't think that's taken too long at all, you know, compared to it, if you know, if you're thinking just a normal card make, and I think they look so cute. So yeah, I'm really pleased with both of those. Very different, but really sweet. So yeah, I think that was a great success. Thank you so much for watching tonight, and like I say, for those of you that were able to stay right through to the end, you're absolute troopers. Thank you for crafting along with me, and for anyone who's watching this on repeat, thank you as well for joining me and watching me make these two cards today. If you are watching on repeat, please do, if you're watching us on YouTube, please do like and subscribe to the channel so you'll see when we add any more videos in the future, whether they be live ones or previous pre-recorded ones from the design team. There's some beautiful videos on there, not to be missed. And also look out for our sale, our super summer sale starting tomorrow. It will be live from 9 AM tomorrow morning, with some great deals to be had for the weekend. So look out for that, and we'll see you all again next week. Thank you guys. See you soon. Bye. Bye.